This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matter to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Profitability Movement. Google Profitability-Movement to join this community of business owners focused on building profit, increasing wealth, and giving back. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you today. Money. It's a hot topic with many of us. Some of you think it's evil. Some of you think it's good. The reality from my perspective is that money is energy flow. If you're stressed or stuck or always talk about money in a negative fashion, I'm tired of being broke. I can't pay my supplier bill. I'm having a problem making payroll. You know the words that go through your head. Then you have an issue with money. My guest today, Hugh Massie, is the founder of Money Energy Pioneer, and he'll give you the strategy to make good money decisions based on your beliefs and get unstuck money-wise. Hugh, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thank you, Ruth. It's great to be with you and have such a passionate introduction to this very important topic.
Oh my gosh. When you and I met, I told you a lot about, my belief about money being energy flow, and it really and truly is. And you and I both know that our thoughts really impact what happens. And tell your story of how you got into this. I think it's fascinating.
Well, just to go back a couple of steps, Ruth, as you know, I'm from Australia, and when I was living in Sydney, I was originally a CPA, or what we call there a chartered accountant, and then I became a wealth manager. And I used to run around telling people that money never sleeps, a little bit following the Wall Street movie statement there in the 1990s. And it was very much from the perspective of, that money is a currency and you need to save it and invest it. And an acorn will turn into an oak tree one day type principle. But when I really started to unpack that a bit more later on, it was much deeper than that. And it was really about the fact that money is on your brain or in your subconscious thoughts the whole time. And it's omnipresent. It's around you. It's around all of us all the time. And, whatever we're thinking, doing, whatever decision we want to make, whatever relationship we have, money is somewhere there. And I think, as you said, people can build up a negative attitude. And if you take that negative attitude to bed with you, that's what you're going to wake up with. It's there in your dreams, thoughts, on a 24/7 basis. So it's very important to rethink what money is to you and in your life and develop a positive relationship with it if you want to have more of it.
Yeah. It was interesting because when you and I were talking about it, when you were starting to manage money, you could tell somebody or know by their personalities and how they reacted, whether an investment for them was really a good idea or not. And sometimes they listened to you and sometimes they didn't. That was pretty much what you told me, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely it. And what I could see is that when people made decisions, financial decisions or investment decisions that were not aligned to who they are as a person, there's always a problem. And so really the first part of this in helping people deal with money is to get them to be, in some ways honest with themselves, to get real, to understand who they are at the core as a human being, what their talents are, what your identity is. I think is something that's very important, because if you haven't got that straight, any decision you're going to make is going to be misaligned and is going to cause you stress somewhere. And that's the thing for people to really be thinking about.
Yeah. And Hugh sent me the white paper, and quite frankly, I felt like I was back learning disc training all over again with personality styles, because there is, a quadrant of different styles and different things, and you can answer and ask questions to kind of discover where you are, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So Ruth, what I do is, and feel like what we've done differently around addressing money energy is actually putting measurement on it. And so, for the last 23 years, I've been, building out, running the DNA behavior business, which is a behavior and money insights business, to uncover through scientific measurement how people make decisions and therefore how they deal with money and correspondingly what their money energy is. So yes, what we do is take people through a specially designed assessment process where they answer questions. It takes about 10 minutes and it's going to tell you what your propensities are. And the more you get in alignment with that and manage the strengths and struggles of that, the better off you're going to be at dealing with money.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to tell you, when I was reading that, I felt like I was back in chemie school. I don't mean that from a negative. I mean it that it is very well researched. It is very well documented, and the scientific numbers and notions that are in there are real. It's not like somebody's giving us fluff. You've actually done the work.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work, and that's what brought me across from Australia to Atlanta. We've worked with a couple of universities here. We've had more than 2 million people go through this. We've really worked on the science, and I've had a whole team around me helping with that. And yes, it's accurate. And then really the success then becomes, once we've nailed who you are, is you being Mr. or Mrs. Investor, business owner, leader, worker, whatever role you play in the world, to decide to confront it and make some decisions as to where you should stay in alignment or where you need to make a change. And that really becomes I think, Ruth, becomes the conscious living that people need to adopt. And that's what I'm trying to do, is help people live more consciously with greater behavior and money awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Before we take a break, if somebody wants to take the assessment or wants to find out more information, how do they do that?
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about money energy itself, go to our website at dnabehavior.com/money energy. And it's all laid out there, and you can take the assessment and we will, run you through it and give you some feedback.
Sounds great. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. We will be right back.
Many times, relatives are recruited to do your company's books without knowing how to do the books. Or you hire a bookkeeper who really doesn't know bookkeeping. If this is you, then your books are probably inaccurate. You probably pay more taxes than you should, and you rarely look at a P&L and balance sheet because you know they are wrong. What do? Have your bookkeeper enroll in Ruth King's Contractor Bookkeeping Basics. After completing this online course, your bookkeeper will know bookkeeping. You'll get accurate financial statements that help you make good business financial decisions. To enroll, click on the link in the show notes or call us at 770-729-0258. Enroll today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm talking with Hugh Massie, who has done huge amounts of research into behaviors and money energy and all the things related to money, so that you can identify honestly who you are and what your propensities towards money actually are. Yeah, that's the way it is. So anyway, let's assume that somebody goes and does the 10-minute assessment and they find out that their behavior style X, and we don't have to say what X or Y or whatever it is. And how do you work with them, or how do you help them knowing what their behavior style is with respect to money?
Yeah, so the way we work with people will Ruth, be different depending on who they are, because the first thing that I want to do is actually learn to communicate with that person more on their terms. And each of us is different. For example, me, I am very rational, to the point, goal-driven, risk taker, you can somewhat get in my face and be very direct with how you're going to approach that conversation. But for somebody else that might be more empathic, maybe
Emotional.
a bit of a spender, heart-based person, you've got to approach that conversation very differently. That might be that security, in terms of money, is their hot button, and this doesn't matter how much money you have. This is about you. And if I said, I know some of your clients listening, or people listening today might be actually in that category and actually very successful in business. And one of my, biggest clients once upon a time in the wealth management business was like that. He had a lot of money, more money than he could ever spend, but he was that empathic person, family orientated, didn't want to take any risks. So I can't go at him like a hard charging bull. We've got to sit down and have a very relaxed conversation and get to, the life that's going to make him feel comfortable and for his family. So the big thing is that this approaching this has got to be very customized to each person. We're all at different stages of the journey and have taken different steps and had different experiences. But my big thing, Ruth, in all of this is to reduce stress for people. And that is...
Yeah, you got to my next topic.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. So reduce stress for people. And, you and I have had lots of conversations about how stress affects you in terms of go ahead. I'll let you talk. I won't talk.
Well, stress is very important because, and I want to articulate that there is some stress in life that's actually good because it propels you to do what's essential, to be smarter. It gives you an adrenaline rush. But really what we're talking about is sustained stress that is just with you the whole time, that starts to eat you up. And then physiologically, it causes you to have inflammation in key organs in your body that can ultimately, at minimum, cause you to age faster, if not give you disease. And so, a lot of what we've got to do is improve how people are thinking about money, and that comes back to getting them to get into alignment in their overall life. But some of this is rationality, but it also is getting people to feel it. It's sitting there in your body. When you're feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see it. You've had a stressful day, or you're stressed about money. Are you eating more than you should? Are you drinking more? Are you complaining to people? Are you acting like a victim? All those things are going on, even if you're not fully aware of it. That's what we've got to stop. We've got to sort of get rid of the congestion.
Yeah. So if I'm totally stressed and I've had a really lousy day, I will go run as fast as I can for 45 minutes and it's done. It's over.
That's because you are the person you are.
Well, you also know that I run. So if I'm really stressed,
that you run.
Yeah.
But somebody else might head to the shops, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to go and buy themselves a new suit, handbag, some clothes, whatever, to relieve that stress. Now, they can do also, when they're very excited, can go and do things too. Go and buy a new car, or pony up too much for a holiday, or whatever. All these things are problematic if they're not kept in an equilibrium. But
so those of you with maintenance agreement money, and there's a lot of money in your savings account, listen to Hugh. Do not spend the money.
Well, if you're going to spend it, at least spend it on experiences and things that are going to provide you with fulfillment, or they're going to be impact living. Because I'm also, Ruth, not about saying, make a lot of money in your life and then die with it all. What's the point of that? You've got to, look at, as I said, look at life experiences, how you're impacting other people. And I think, another area where money causes so much stress, particularly for people who've got it, is who do I give it to? How do I manage my children? How do I manage business succession, family succession? What investments do I have? Who do I give it to? You know, all those things are big issues, or just the fact that somebody next door has got more money than you and you think, well, gee, why don't I have as much as them? And am I doing something wrong? You know, they're all mental stresses too that need to be conquered.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really is a point of whatever is in your head, at least from my perspective, about money just continues and continues. If you are from my perspective, if you're constantly negative about money, it just gets worse.
Yeah, and I think you just eat yourself up.
Yeah.
And in a way, you'll never be happy. And I think at the end of the day, we want to have more people who are happy and happier for longer. And I think if they get to that place, they'll also be healthier. And so I'm very big about, you know, quality life, longevity here. And you know, as you and I know from the Abundance 360 program that we're part of, which is, you know, is how we met, that longevity is a big thing.
Yeah,
and
it is.
But do we want to be held together with you know, pins and needles and wheelchairs and whatnot? I think, you know, you want to be out running you know, till you're 100. I want to be on the golf course till I'm 100, and I know both you and I are going to do it because of our mindset.
Yeah. You know, as Peter has talked about, health span, not lifespan. And
yeah, that's a very important thing, I think, for people to focus on. And you know, money is one of those things that can get in the way of it, but you also want to have enough there to be able to live long enough and happily as well. So this is, you know, this is a big conversation that we all need to have. And that's also one of the problems, is that we don't know how to talk about money. And you know, I think that's why you and I are talking today, to start to get people more comfortable to start being open about it. That's what I want to provide the pathway for.
Yeah. All right, Hugh. So final thoughts.
Well, I encourage everybody to, you know, I think as we started, to start getting real about what money is and understand it a little bit better, but also just spend more time getting in touch with yourself, your identity, and if you're looking at making any changes in your life, look at just doing one thing for 1 or 2 hours a week that you enjoy, and then just grow from there, and then add another thing into your life, and you'll find that everything in your life will start to transform from there. I think it's what you know, BJ Fogg, who's a famous author, says, you know, tiny habits, and if you make some small steps, they become big transformations.
Absolutely. And give us the website one more time, please.
Yeah, please go to dnabehavior.com/money energy, and you'll see our white paper there that Ruth's referred to, and you'll see a link where you can register to go through discovery, and we'll get going from there.
Sounds great, Hugh. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's wonderful, Ruth. I really enjoyed it.
And thanks to all of you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email ruthking@hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.